Hey folks, so how's everybody doing today? Yesterday was a pretty exciting night for all the boxing fan, I would say, and at the end of the day, all of the fan of combat sports. Wilder versus Fury. I already did a little review actually yesterday, right after the fight, where I share some of my thoughts about that fight right after it. So when I was red hot. So yeah, and that's a little bit the same thing that I'm going to say through this little review here. Is that at the end of the day, I don't mind that. I mean, I don't mind that Deontay Wilder lost the fight. I don't really mind it. Uh, Obviously, what bothers me really is the fact that the way that he lost. What bothers me is the way that he lost the fight, and I'm going to explain why. Um, but firstly, it's not the fact that he lost that really bothers me. It's the way that he lost. And the way that he lost is showing me basically that he had no business in being in the same ring that Tyson Fury, right? Other than his right hand. That's what it shows me. Is it something that we didn't expect? I don't think so. I mean, we was expecting um, Wilder not to be at the level skill wise and technically wise, even boxing IQ wise, of Tyson Fury. But we were thinking that his training and his strategy, right, were going to be enough to um, mitigate, let's say, to mitigate the strength of Fury, which are actually everything else but the power shot. But then again, when we're saying power shot, again, remember, Tyson Fury has a knockout percentage of about 70%. So this guy, when he hits you, he kind of hurts you, right? Because 70% is not 50%, is not 40%. It means that he's knocking people out anyway. So if he hits you, right, and if you have a tendency to be hit a lot, then you're gonna fall, and that's what happened to Deontay Wilder. You got a guy who is getting hit because at the end of the day, his defense is not that great. Already in slipping punches, but his defense is not that great because he doesn't even keep his hands up, right? I don't feel good about this defeat. Left a sour taste in my mouth. Again, like I'm saying, not because he lost to Tyson Fury, not because he lost, but because of the way he lost. Now, let me explain this, and let me explain my position basically. You know, as a coach, that your fighter is going to fight somebody that's heavy, 277 pounds. You know that that guy has a stamina to last all these 12 rounds, even with his weight, 277 pounds, bouncing like a light heavyweight or bouncing like a lightweight, right? You know that this guy is able to do that for the 12th round and that he's going to come in here, throw his weight around at your fighter like he did in the second fight. I mean, there was no secret, right? My understanding is this. The first thing you got to be ready about, right, when you're preparing that fight is to counter that first strategy, which is to bully your fighter, walk him down, right? Don't give him any rest, and every chance you get, you lean on him, on the ropes, in the center of the ring, everywhere in the ring, you lean on him, right? This was known. This was no secret. So that was the first thing that his coach had to prepare him for. And how do you prepare him for that? Do you prepare him for that by bench pressing, like you say? Bench pressing 350? Bench pressing 350 doesn't help nobody if this is just, you know what, a power shot. Like you lift 350 one time and you say that you're going to carry somebody's weight for 12 rounds. This is totally different. You have to work, you have to have resistance to be able to do that, right? Or for bench pressing to help, right? It's got to be engraved in muscle memory after that, you know, to be able to carry that weight, right? The muscle used to carry that weight. So, yeah, I'm a little bit pissed off at this because this was the first strategy you had to counter. Somebody throwing his weight at your fighter and pressing him, walking him down, right? I mean, we saw that the strategy of Wilder was uh, to counter Fury, to um, not to allow him to walk him down. We saw that in the first round. He did everything that he had to do. He did it in the first round. When we think about it, look at the first round. Everything that he needed to do, he did it in the first round. He was very generous with his jab, long with his jab. Although I think that when he was jabbing, going down that low and leaving himself open was a little bit dangerous at the end of the day. And I think Fury would have caught up on it, and he did a little bit when he was throwing those check hooks. But yeah, the first round was the strategy that he was going to follow. Generous with the jab, long jab, right? And then jab, jab, come upstairs with the right hand. That's what they wanted him to do. I think that obviously he must, I hope he must have had other combination that he wanted to throw, because I don't think that with only one combination you're gonna, you know, you're gonna confuse Fury, right? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. But that was a good game plan at the first in the first round. But the second round, everything went down. Why? I don't get it. My thing is this. My thing is this. That's why they made the error. The error, first of all, I think that you needed, in order to be able to control or to counter that strategy by Fleury, you needed to have a fighter that was physically conditioned, you know, that was properly physically conditioned. You had to have a fighter that should have been ready to sustain carrying that weight for 12 rounds in training. We should have made him feel that weight for 12 rounds. Get him used to feel that weight on his body for 12 rounds. We should have had him running all over the place, right? To make sure that his cardio was on point, right? That's what we should have done. He should have been ready physically, but from my understanding, from my standpoint, from my knowledge of this game, I think that he wasn't ready physically, right? I mean, his physical condition, in my opinion, was not up to the point, was not up to the task, was not up to be able to carry the strategy that he had planned, which was the one that we saw in the first round. And that was working. Yeah, it's as simple as that. And it's really upsetting. I'm going to tell you why as well it is upsetting. Because, I mean, you don't have the skill set that Tyson Fury has. And that's a huge advantage. And when I'm talking about the skill set, I'm talking about everything else except just power. And when I say except power, is that it's not that Fury doesn't have power, like I was saying, but he doesn't have more power than Deontay Wilder, right? So basically, in every other department, Fury is edging Deontay Wilder, right? But this department, right, you need to have a lot of talent. You need to have talent. You need to have experience. All of this, right? to be on top. And experience and talent, especially, you don't buy it, right? Sometimes people say either you have it or either you don't. And when you don't, you have to work. But one thing that you don't need to have talent for, right, is cardio, is physical training. I mean, you have to work to have those things, right? Cardio, physical training, stamina, resistance. You need to train. You need to run. You need to go through some rounds. You need to do uh, rounds of boxing, rounds and rounds and rounds of boxing, and with the proper uh, sparring partner, with the proper type of training. I don't know, like run 5 miles carrying a 40-pound pack on your back, a 60-pound pack on your back, right? 100-pound pack on your back, and try to run those miles, right? Do sparring against guys that are over 250, 270, right? And you, let's say you don't have the right to throw punches. You just have the right to cover yourself. And the other guys can come at you, lean on you like he wants, and you try just to box without using right hand and all that. And you can do these type of things to try to make it so that this guy, he's ready mentally and physically, right, to carry that excess weight of Tyson Fury. But I didn't see that, and that's where I'm upset a little bit. And that's where I'm saying that some of these guys on his corner didn't do the job, right? I don't want to say that, but that's where it leans to, right? Because the first round was amazing, and right after in the second round, we had that issue. No, that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, in my opinion. It shouldn't be. So yes, I'm barking out this time. That's why I'm a little bit disappointed about this fight. This is why I'm not surprised about the result, because right after the second round, the only thing that we were expecting and that we wanted to know is what round is he gonna knock him out. To be honest with you, that's what I was expecting. What round is he gonna knock him out, right? And already around the the sixth round, I wasn't following it anymore. Seventh round, I wasn't really following it because it kind of hurt me to see how Deontay Wilder was being beat up, and it hurt my feeling to see that he was being beat up because he wasn't ready, and that he was being beat up because of something that he should have worked on, that didn't depend upon talent or learning things for years, right? Cardio, he had the time to improve his cardio. He did have the time to improve his cardio and to be prepared to carry Tyson Fury weight, or to to challenge him and to counter him, to challenge the center of the ring to Fury. That's my thinking, and that was for me the key to the defeat of and to the victory. To stay positive, to the victory for Tyson Fury. Definitely, uh, I think that Deontay Wilder was ready. Man, he had all these chances if he was, physically ready there, right? Tyson Fury was hesitating. He knew that the right hand could come at any time. Uh, Good thing that Wilder was doing. He was faking him, and Tyson Fury was reacting to those fakes, right? Tyson Fury was reacting to the fake, so everything was working. I thought that in the first in the first round, I thought that, oh yeah, I think that we might have a fight, and especially we went out of the first round. I thought that it was going to give some confidence to Wilder, but it didn't. Even the second round, I thought he was going to give him a little bit of confidence. Even took some punches. I mean, some punches that was going to tell him that, yeah, I can take those punches. But I don't think that he was mentally ready for this, right? When he took the first punch that went flush 1-2, right? I don't think that he was mentally ready for him and for that. And I think that this just kind of started the whole thing. Maybe that's the flashback that came again from the last fight from there. And from then on, I mean, people was, I mean, I was just there expecting, like, counting, you know what, thinking, okay, now, what round is he gonna go down? That's what I was thinking. What round is he gonna go down? So listen, again, very upset. I mean, very disappointed, I would say, about the fight because he could have done better and he could have had a better physical preparation and I think also mental. I don't know. Like I was saying again in the other post that I did regarding the prediction. I mean, he could have done a lot of things. He could have stayed there. He could have fought it a lot better than that. Uh, I think he could have won this fight. To be honest with you, if he was ready physically, I said it in the other I said it in the other podcast. He had to be ready physically. If you're not ready physically, and that's again the way that I said it in the on the other way. Any sport, whether you talk about American football, tennis, anything, right? You have to be ready. You have to have the cardio. Otherwise, at one point, it's going down. And when your cardio, right, gives up, uh, right after the first round, when you have other 12 round, 12 3 minutes round to go, you're in the world to hurt. You're in trouble, and especially against a sniper like Tyson Fury, right? At that point, right? Against any sniper, any boxer actually, if you cannot defend yourself, like already Deontay Wilder couldn't defend himself after the first round. That's totally crazy. Now, this being said, I mean, there's a tomorrow. There was no death. There's a tomorrow for both of these fighters. I guess while for Fury, I mean, this is glory. Or and maybe the road to Anthony Joshua. Although I don't know what is going to be the meaning of this fight, especially after the defeat of Anthony Joshua against Usyk. So I don't know what's going to happen that on that side, but I mean Fury, he's got it all. He's the undisputed heavyweight champion. I mean, anybody that wants it, come get it, and they can get it. So he's on top of the mountain. He's the alpha, the heavyweight champion, undisputed. So man, it's up to the newcomer to show their face, to show that they are worthy of you know that they deserve a fight against Tyson Fury. Definitely. I mean, he's proven. Forget about all this stuff about tempered gloves and spiked water and all this fairy tale now, I would say. And right now, it looks even more ridiculous when we see such a difference in talent, in skills. Right? It becomes really ridiculous. So what's next now for our friend Wilder? I don't know. I like the guy. I cannot say that I don't like Wilder in terms of what he portrays publicly, right? I like the guy. I like the guy. So what's next for him? Well, what's next for him? Wow, that's a good question. I mean, and also he has, in my opinion, there's two options, right? Whether you continue boxing, right? You continue boxing, uh, or you go to retirement, right? Continue boxing, what does that mean? I mean, if he wants to continue boxing, definitely I think that right now, as I'm speaking right now, his boxing career or legacy does not have any meaning unless he can beat Tyson Fury. Because at the end of the day, he's beating everybody else. He's towered above everybody else. and quite decisively, right? I obviously he had some close fights and all that stuff, but he beat everybody else. 42 fights. You got 42 opponents that you sniped. So I don't think that right now, from where I stand and looking at his resume, that there's any competition for him out there, right? That he cannot really, consider beatable, right? I think that there's like he is still on top there, but uh, his price, he's Tyson Fury, and currently a fourth fight with Tyson Fury wouldn't make any sense, right? Already after the second fight, the only reason why the third fight made sense is because there was all these allegations about tampered gloves, about spiked water, about the costume. So there was all these allegations about all that, right? Those excuses, like people say, and that's how we're gonna see them now. Excuses, right? In light of the performance that we saw yesterday on October 9th, right? So yeah, so no more excuses. So like I was saying, his career only makes sense now as we speak. Uh, go through a victory or defeat of Tyson Fury, but the first fight is not going to happen anytime soon. The only way that redemption can come upon us again is if uh, Deontay Wilder has the heart to go back, you know what, to go back in the contender seat and and okay, work his way to put himself in a position again. That's funny to say, to put himself in a position again to fight Fury. And this is if he wants to do it, if he has the desire, if he has the heart to do it. Because right now, when he went into the third fight, I don't think that he was ready mentally either, right? There was just a little thing, right, that gave him some flashback of, of the second fight. And this is the question: does Deontay Wilder really want to fight against Tyson Fury one more time? And to be honest with you, I don't know. And if I want to be even more honest, I'm going to say I don't think so. I don't think so, and especially not right now. So this is a really important time. I mean, this is decision time for Deontay Wilder right now. Obviously, people need to give him some time before knowing what's going to be his next move. But if he wants to, again, there's not a lot of things that he still need to prove on the boxing side, right? There's not a lot of things. He's beating a lot of people right now. He's beating a lot. He's beating a lot of people. The only victory that would make sense to him, I think, is to beat Tyson Fury. For himself, for his legacy, for his ego, it's to beat Tyson Fury. But it doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. Again, like I was saying, he has to go back on the school bench. He has to fight against. He has to fight, against newcomers to show that he deserves a spot to fight Tyson Fury. He has to go back to the rank again and fight, right? And that's the only way that he's going to, put himself in the contender position again, right? But does he wants to do that after like all the work that he did, after all that what he has proven? Does he want to go back to to go back to school? I don't know. I don't know. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of dedication. That's a lot of training camp, right? I don't know. I don't know if he's ready to do that. And the other option, obviously, is retirement, right? You hang up your gloves. You've done a lot. But if you retire, you need to accept that you've never been able to beat Tyson Fury, and that is better than you. As simple as that. You need to accept it, and you need to move on, right? You need to move on. You need to forget about the first fight. You need to forget about the second fight. You need to forget about the third fight, right? They happen. They happen. They're part of your history. That's it. You accept it, but you forget about it, right? don't let them bother you. Don't let them hurt you anymore, right? That's what you have to do. Look at this. After the first round, he was already he started. I don't know. I feel sad. I feel bad. I don't like to see somebody being beat up like this, right? He wasn't ready. Don't nobody tell me that this guy was ready to go 12 round against Tyson Fury. I don't think so. Tyson Fury broke him. He broke him in the second round right away. He broke him in the second round, and after that, Deontay Wilder was fighting on borrowed time. Uh, Let me tell you this: he was fighting on borrowed time, and we can see since right at the first round, he was already starting to gas out. I mean, that was sad. So yeah, that's two solutions. Do you want to continue? If you continue, you go back into the, into fighting for the for your ranking, fighting to go back up to being contender number one, to put yourself in a position to for people to respect you and to consider that you have a chance to win this time against Tyson Fury, if that's what you desire, if you that's what your heart desire. And again, I don't think so. To be honest with you, I don't think that's what his heart desire. I don't think his heart desire to be, you know, to be anywhere close to the same ring Fury is. And I'm honest about it. I don't think so. Every knockdown of the oh my god, look at this man. And now you're gonna have all this discussion about okay, what was he saying about tempered gloves and all that stuff? Blah, 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 blah. That's going to be crazy. Anyway, so that's my take on this, guys. So basically, at the end of the day, when we're going to see that this fight, people are saying that oh that was a great fight, that was a fantastic fight for Wilder. He showed his heart and all that, but I don't think that's what he wanted to show. What he wanted to show is that he could beat Tyson Fury. My only issue is that I think that he didn't do the right thing in terms of training. I don't know if it's him or his corner didn't do the right thing to counter what was coming. And they knew what was coming. The important thing for Fury for Wilder was to avoid being walked down and to be able to avoid being walked down definitely. That was one of the first thing, and to work well and to work on a technique to deliver his lethal touch. When I say to avoid being walked down, I think that you get the picture. To avoid, being bullied, being, to avoid being impacted when somebody is putting his weight on you. To be ready for that physical exercise that you're going to go through, because that's what Fury is coming in for, and that's what Fury has in store for you. You know that. You know that. So you need to counter that strategy itself. It's the strategy that you need to counter, and you need to have a strategy as well to deliver your lethal touch, to deliver your weapon, your weapon. You need to have that strategy as well. And I think that he had it, but he didn't have the proper preparation, physical and mental, to be able to carry out his plan. He did it in the first round, and after that, second round, I don't know if it's flashback from the second fight or if it's just exhaustion because of overtraining. I don't know, but he didn't have the look, the confident look. He didn't have the look like I can go for round like this, right? Like Fury was kind of showing. He always had that bounce, even in the 11th round. Although I'm sure, and I was saying that he was tired. Sometimes he had hard time punching towards the end, but he had a poker face and he was ready physically, and his endurance, his resistance was there. He did some good work, even at 277 pounds. And this is unexcusable for Wilder not to be physically, mentally, and on the resistance side and the cardio side, not to be ready to go against Tyson Fury. and I think that that's why he lost. Actually, that's why he lost. I mean, he lost because he had some, in my opinion, some flashback. Just didn't want him to be knocked down. He didn't want to be knocked out, and that's why I think he got up. Uh, when I say he got up, that's why after the first round and the second round, that's why he went back into that ring after the first, second, third, fourth round. That's why he went back. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure he would have given up if the room was empty. But he has an ego. He had a pride, and that pride is the reason why he stayed fighting. He kept fighting. I don't think that he believed that he could win this fight, except if he had a lucky shot. But don't forget about the lucky shot. But other than that, I don't think that he believed that he could win that fight. He was broken up before before the knockdown itself. He was killed before the knockdown itself. Like I was saying, I was on my side. I was just now trying to figure out, okay, at what round he was going to be knocked down. And I think that Fury took a little bit of time before getting him out of here. I think that one is because he got caught earlier by being too enthusiastic, right? And I think that that's what make him tentative a little bit at times to try and finish him. But he should have finished him uh, two, at least 2 rounds before this 11th round. So yeah, I think he should have finished him in the ninth round for sure. So that's my take on this, guys. Let me know what you think because this one is interesting. Everybody's saying that was a beautiful fight. I don't think that was such a beautiful fight, especially on Deontay Wilder's side. That was an amazing fight for Fury and for the Fury fight, and people that are seeing the fight from on the Fury side. It was less fun when they're seeing it on when we're seeing it on the Deontay Wilder side, and it's even not funny when we're seeing it not from any side at all, just for looking at the boxing match. And we see that one of the opponent is not ready. It's not that he cannot fight or stuff like that. He's just not ready. He doesn't have the proper countermeasures for for what his opponent has to offer him basically. So that's that. That's my opinion here. So I think that this defeat totally goes out to again to the preparation, to the coach, uh, physical conditioning, and I wanted to say his strategy because the strategy was there. I'm going to say the strategy was there. The execution was not there, right? Because there's something that has affected that execution, and I think that it comes down to mental preparation, and it comes down to physical conditioning. That in that case, I think played a great role in that defeat of Deontay Wilder, and that is inexcusable because physical conditioning is not a talent. It's something that you obtain by working hard, and having the right drills, training. So here you go. Everything's been said. Let me know what you think about all this. See you guys. Thanks for following up.